Mr. Transformers 96 here with another Transformers custom. It's been a long time since I've done a custom. I really got into it when the last night movie was coming out, and after it was released, I did a ton of customs. I do still want to continue doing customs and everything. It's just time constraints, and I've been quite busy as of recently, so I haven't been able to get around to many customs. Although I have a ton of customs planned to do, so I don't know how frequently I'm going to be able to get customs out, but I'll always be working on something. So eventually, more customs, of course, will come out. This one I was working on it back in November, got really sidetracked for a while there, and I finally finished it now, but I'm very happy to finish it, so definitely wanted to talk about this one. We have a Battle Damage Brawl. So I love the Decepticons from the first film, I really do, and doing a battle damage version of those Decepticons has always been kind of on my mind. I went to a little toy shop that had like a Brawl figure. He was in his tank mode, and I thought, hey, I might be, it was $5, and I was like, hey, this would be perfect for my custom. I got it home and realized that he was missing an arm, and then I was like, well, that's perfect, because what I wanted to do was remove his arm anyway, so and luckily it was the right arm too, like the one that I needed to be off, because of course he does lose an arm in the film, which is what I wanted to show anyway. So it worked out perfect. The one that I purchased happened to be missing the limb that I was planning on taking off anyway. So I couldn't get any luckier as far as that's concerned. But anyway, so what I did here was mainly a repaint, but with some newly sculpted pieces, and I also did adjust I did kind of mess up the plastic in some areas too to create more battle damage look. This is actually my first battle damage custom. I've never done one like this before. It's mainly just been customs where I'm turning characters into new characters or just giving characters a fresh paint job. I haven't actually took a character and just turned them into a battle damage version of themselves. So this was a fun one to do. Battle damage ones are kind of fun too because you don't have to be pristine, which is kind of neat. You can play around a little bit more with it. So I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. Let's get you a bit of a close-up here so you can really see just kind of how it's been done. So basically what I did was, this isn't the normal green on the figure. I will be doing some comparisons here with the normal figure because of course I do still have one. But I've completely changed up the green. I found one that's a lot more accurate to the film. The green that is on the regular figure is pretty good, but it's not quite accurate. So I definitely wanted to create it, or to make it more accurate, so I did kind of give him a complete repaint with the green color scheme. I left the gold pieces gold, because I still like them. I left the eyes red, and then I left the treads black. That's basically all that I left. Everything else, I gave it a full green color scheme, or repaint, and then on top of that, I burnt many sections of the figure. I took a knife, heated up the knife, and kind of just burnt into the plastic to give it those scratches and scars. You can see it. I'll try to touch on all the scars that I did. I even cut off a bit of this. So, and then I also just poked some holes to give it that bullet hole type of effect. As you can see, it works really well. I didn't quite know how that was going to work. We're just scarring it, but it works nicely. If you can, the way that it burns, it kind of builds up the plastic on the edges, which is realistic to how it would actually, scars would look on on metal. And then, of course, but when you do this, they're not silver. So then when you paint it silver, it looks like it's metal. And that just, it turns out really nice. I actually like it a lot. So yeah, so I was very pleased with how the battle damage pieces kind of turned out on the figure there. Very happy about that. Then I took some silver, where I just kind of put a little bit of silver on my brush, and I kind of used a messed up brush, one that wasn't very straight, or pointy, one that was kind of frilled, and then I kind of just wiped it on the paper for a while to get most of the paint off, and then when it was just a tad bit of paint on that brush, I kind of just lightly brushed on the edges of things to give it that silver kind of scarred look. I went a little heavy-handed at the chest there. I wanted the chest to be really kind of messed up, and then everything else I kind of did a little softer, so it has this kind of silver flaked effect, with the edges having more of a pronounced, silver scratches on them. So yeah, so just kind of did that to my heart's content, just kind of went on it, did as much as I thought looked good. And when, some angles, it doesn't look like there's much silver there, but then when I tilt it, you can really see the silver pop. So the silver it's subtle and it's extreme depending on the light that you have it in. So that works out nicely. And then I just took some black and I basically did the same thing. Did a little less with the black though, but that gives it just kind of a really dirty look, and not so scarred, but more just dirty and burnt, which is what I was going for. And then as far as the other things that I actually changed on the armor, other than just adding the battle damage in, of course his arm is missing here, so that was nice and easy. What I did was I took some wire, which I'm trying to think of what I originally used this for. I don't remember. Oh, I bought this for Dreadbot. I bought this to wrap the Christmas lights around Dreadbot's arm. But I've used this poseable wire before. It works out very nicely. It's extremely poseable. It's just a poseable wire, and I've used it on several customs. This one being the newest one, and I just kind of stuck it in there, super glued it in there, got a few pieces so they just looked like the wires were hanging out where his arm used to be. I think that looks cool. That just kind of completes it and makes it really look like it's battle damaged. Then one thing I did was very small, but I like doing it, is that I cut his finger off. I repositioned the finger, I got it lined up, and then glued it back on. So usually his hand, let me get a comparison. Usually his hand is more fisted. With this one though, I kind of put the first finger out a little bit more, just so that it looks like his arm was, or his hand was a little bit more spread, and that way you can completely see both fingers, things like that. This one kind of forms like, it almost looks like he's supposed to be holding something here, and I wanted more of just like a spread open hand here. So that's kind of what I was going for. So it was a very small thing. Like if you were going to do this custom on your own, I wouldn't necessarily say you have to do that. That's just kind of a fun thing that I was kind of experimenting with, but I kind of like it. Then what I did with the cannon, because the cannon is definitely not accurate to the movie, because the figure comes with this, the full cannon here, and the back section, this is an accurate piece of the movie. He does have that in the film, but with this big section here, even if you swiveled it around, he looks kind of ridiculous. So what I did was I cut off the tank section. I cut that whole section off, so that it was just this. Just the back of the cannon, essentially. And then I found these, which was part of a 2-pack of Star Wars The Last Jedi, like those 5 points of articulation figures. There was a 2-pack where I bought it simply for the Praetorian Guard in the pack. However, Rey came with like a big kind of cannon thing, and on the cannon thing were these kind of little blasters. So I just cut the front sections of those cannons off, and then just glued them on here so that there would be a larger barrel section on the weapon, and I think that actually looks awesome. I love it. I love the new designed weapon. I think that looks very cool. But yeah, so those are the things that I actually did to the armor itself. I completely changed up the gun, changed up the hand there, and then added battle damage. And then I also removed some things. Let's give you a little comparison here. Just get them standing properly. All right. So, of course, right here is your standard figure, and my custom one, as you can see. So what I did was I removed the panels on the legs there, just to streamline the legs a bit more. I removed this cannon section just to give it more of a battle damage look. Obviously, the armor's gone, and then everything else is the same. Obviously, I changed up the cannon there, but I left all the back panel pieces on, because it all kind of compacts very nicely on Brawl. This is a solid figure. I actually like this figure a lot. So just, I wanted to do an update and a battle damage version of the update, and I think it looks quite cool. You can he's fully poseable now. I did also, one thing that figure has an issue with is that the shoulder pads don't plug in very well on that figure. So what I did was I super glued it on. So now it simply sticks. This is not transformable. If you wanted to, you could totally do this custom and make it transformable, because you actually don't need his arms to transform him into a tank. Like, the arms just fold up, so you can have him as a complete tank without his arms, and nobody would even know. Which is why I purchased him without knowing that he wasn't complete. With his arms, so you can totally do that if you wanted, yeah. But personally, I don't like to transform my customs, so I decided I'd rather have it be more functional and have it be all glued in. But yeah, I'm loving this custom. I think it looks awesome. I'm very happy to finally finish it. I do want to do this with some other, Decepticons from the first movie. I do have an extra Bone Crusher as well as Blackout that I've already kind of planned on doing a custom with as far as battle damage custom. It's just about when I'm going to get to it. So I do plan to do that eventually in the future. When, though, I don't know. I hope you guys, obviously the more support that I get with like videos like these, the more more likely I'm able to invest more time into it, essentially. But yeah, overall, really had a fun time with this custom. I really like the result of it a lot. I love Brawl, and yeah, I'm very excited. It would be very cool to have a nice little collection of just like my custom battle damage Decepticons from the first movie. That would be really cool in general. So yeah, I think that I'll definitely get to it. Hopefully I can try to get to it pretty soon here. I really haven't started much, but I've just kind of planned out the things that I wanted to do. So yeah, hope you guys like my battle damage Brawl. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.